What you think about when you're born into a fire. Let them burn it out. Sell them to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, we kill it anyway. Listen up now, because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big house. Our brains are bigger than the doubt. We've been thinking for ourselves, never let the truth fade away. This is bigger than ourselves, we won't let the world burn away, burn away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, hate is based.
Hey, what's up? Welcome, I guess.
Hey Daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to thank you for watching Cold Beer Confessionals with Will Bird. I think that's just incredible. I've watched a few episodes and I'm just like very intrigued. But you know what I'm most intrigued in is Big Daddy's meat stick. I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage. You know, Linda and her coochie loves that. Oh, never mind. Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when it comes from the realm of Linda Bindaland. So, enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Welcome everybody. I'm Will Bird, and this is the Cold Beer Confession. Sorry, the page is still loading. Thank you guys for joining us. Yeah, I appreciate you coming here. Thank you for that. A little bit of a late start. No weed eater story today. It's just storming like hell. Actually, a pallet. The wind is so strong that it. The little area I'm in, there's also like a little construction company. They got a storage lot behind us. The wind blew a pallet off a stack upright. That upright pallet then landed on top of our dumpster. You know, dumpsters has those like plastic lids that you flip over. It landed on the plastic lid on the dumpster, slid off that, and hit my fucking car. So the wind blew a pallet into my car. So we lose power or something. You guys know what happened. It's a storm. We're having quite a storm right now. So we'll see what happens. No weed eater travesty. I did weed eat some today, but I ran out of string. So I had to go buy some new string. You think you're paying $300 for a weed eater, they give you a fucking roll of $20 string or something. But nope. Got to buy your string separately. Anyways, I just saw this really interesting story I was listening to before I started the show, and I want to go listen to it with you. Now, I don't know the validity of this. We can look it up. But I do know that there was this big investigation back and forth into Bukele from El Salvador and Trump and what was promised, what was done, how this deal was made for housing the immigrants, right? The people who were deported. And part of the claim is, I don't know how true this is, all right? It's an investigative journalist thing. Bukele wanted 9 specific criminals from the MS-13 gang, okay? He wanted 9. So, okay, Tren de Aragua is a gang in Venezuela. MS-13 is a gang from El Salvador, okay? He agreed, part of this backroom deal, apparently, was that Bukele could have the 9 specific criminals that he wanted out of the United States. Supposedly, because they had information on Bukele. I don't know how true that is. It's part of a much bigger investigation. But this lady on TikTok was talking about it, and I just wanted to see what she was saying, and I didn't get to watch the whole video. So we're going to watch it together here. Let me slow it down and get you some audio and see what she has to say about it. Apparently, she's read about the investigation, and I haven't read the whole thing. So let's see.
Y'all go get some coffee because I have some piping hot tea for you. So after the New York Times investigation came out last week, more and more details have come to the surface. And if you guys want to read any of this, you can go look at it's the Washington office on Latin America. And y'all, the tea is so hot today. Y'all know like the whole Bukele situation, right? Down in El Salvador. And now Trump is kind of got caught with his little hand in the cookie jar because Bukele is like, I don't know if that's what we agreed to, my friend. Now all this stuff is coming out. So Bukele's brother, that Abraham, who has no ties to the government, was emailing with the chief of staff for Marco Rubio, who is the State Department guy here in the United States. Okay, so just for a reminder, there were 238 Venezuelans and 23 Salvadorans, okay? But y'all, this is where it gets so juicy.
By the way, one of the maggots that's in my replies was like, we sent El Salvadorans back to El Salvador. It's their problem. And completely ignored, like, because the only question I asked is, like, I understand deportation. That is a process that, whether you like it or not, it's a legal process that happens, right? I don't understand deporting people straight to a prison. That's weird to me, but whatever.
Lucy. Okay, so Bukele said one of the terms of the contract was that Trump had to return these 9 specific El Salvadorans. So remember that TDA, right, Tren de Aragua, that is a Venezuelan gang, and MS-13 is a Salvadoran gang, okay? So one of the conditions apparently in this agreement is, and guys, I have tea coming out all day today, and it is all hot. So follow so you don't miss it. The condition was that he had to return these 9 El Salvadoran gang members who were MS-13 but were being held in U.S. custody specifically, and apparently he wanted them back because they had incriminating evidence against Bukele. Now, the one that was like his top priority that he wanted back was Cesar Humberto Lopez Larios, who was apparently one of the 3, top people at MS-13. We had them here in the United States, these 9 people, because they were being tried or held for crimes either charged or committed. And this guy, Cesar, the one I was just telling you about, he had been indicted in 2020 and he was being held in New York. 4 days before these people took off for El Salvador, U.S. Attorney
Dr. J, that one that I just did with exclamation point tip should repeat now.
John
every 17 minutes or something.
Judge in the New York district that prosecution wanted the charges dropped under the sovereign authority of the executive branch, aka the president. Guys, when people are charged of crimes, even if they're from somewhere else, if they commit crimes on U.S. soil, they do their time on U.S. soil. So what I'm saying here is that this report is saying that people within Trump's orbit went and basically had these people sprung from prison as a favor to Bukele for taking.
So dropping prosecution of somebody to get them home or to get them back there because he has some type of interest in it, and using the sovereign authority of the president to stop the prosecution.
These other people, because Bukele wanted to get his hands on them because apparently they had incriminating evidence against him and this is Bukele, against Bukele's former dealings or current dealings, depending, with MS-13. And then Bukele went on to say that if Trump was able to return all 9, because obviously if they have dirt on Bukele, he doesn't want them speaking in an American court, right? If he returned all of them, that Bukele would give the Trump administration a 50% discount on all of the Venezuelans that were being held in year 2, and it said, if necessary. My question is, why wouldn't it be necessary? Like, where were they going to go between year 1 and year 2? Anyways, supposedly the agreement,
if necessary, that is weird,
of which $4.6 million has already been paid to Bukele. One of the things that it has come out says that Rubio has been in direct contact with the Bukele's team, and that the White.
I think Bukele probably has some type of weird deal with MS-13. So here's another story. This comes from the Latin Times, okay? Justice Department dismissed charges against Cesar Humberto Lopez Larios, known as Grinas, just days before deporting him, citing sensitive and important foreign policy considerations. All right, so the U.S. Justice Department dropped the case against him, and they cited sensitive and important foreign policy considerations as a reason. The U.S. government recently dropped all charges against a high-ranking MS-13 gang leader and deported him to El Salvador, with a recent report raising questions about potential political negotiations between the Donald Trump and Bukele administrations. The gang leader, Cesar Lopez Larios, known as Grinas, has been in the U.S. custody after being arrested in Mexico. So he wasn't even arrested in the U.S., arrested in Mexico in 2023, and was considered a key figure in the U.S. case against MS-13 gang leadership. His testimony is going to allow the U.S. to go after gang leadership with MS-13. According to the U.S. Justice Department, records cited by DropSite News, Grinas was allegedly involved in secret negotiations between MS-13 and Salvadoran President Bukele's government, in which gang leaders were offered incentives in exchange for reducing violence and providing political support for Bukele. Bukele has long denied these negotiations, but his administration has resisted extraditing any MS-13 gang leaders to the U.S., raising speculation about his desire to keep their testimony out of American courts. 4 days before Grinas was deported, federal prosecutors just dismissed the charges against him, citing sensitive and important foreign policy considerations. The move was part of a broader deportation operation that included over 250 people, mostly Venezuelans, accused of being part of the Tren de Aragua, and for whose expulsion Trump invoked the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. Griñez was identified upon arrival in El Salvador when Bukele's government released a video of arriving deportees. Trump also expelled 22 other Salvadorans, including another MS-13 member, Cesar Alicio Sorda Amaya. U.S. agencies have refused to disclose details of the deportations. Observers who talked to the outlet believe that Griñez's deportation may have been strategic concession to Bukele in exchange for accepting the Venezuelan deportees as well. His removal also appears to have had an impact on other high-profile MS-13 figures in U.S. custody. 3 days after his expulsion, two top leaders, Marlon Antonio Portillo and Jorge Alexander de la Cruz, pleaded guilty to terrorism-related charges. Moreover, another top leader, Jose Beato Santos, was arrested last week in Virginia. Griñez, a member of MS-13 top leadership, was allegedly present during 2019 negotiations between the gang and Bukele's administration. The report added, U.S. prosecutors claimed the talks led to MS-13 reducing public killings in exchange for financial incentives and territorial control. So again, Bukele's big thing is he's the best dictator in the world because he's ended gangs completely. But that's damn near impossible, right? Someone's always going to be offended by something, especially with like a totalitarian government, an authoritarian government like Bukele's doing. So, like, how do you get rid of these people that with just a thought can turn into a gang member or dissent or whatever? But according to him and the press release they put out, everything's fucking perfect, crime's at zero, all this shit, right? The alleged truce appeared to benefit Bukele politically by lowering the country's murder rate, strengthening his image as a crime fighter. The Bukele administration has consistently resisted extradition requests for MS-13 leaders, including some accused of negotiating with his government. In one case, Salvadoran officials released an MS-13 leader wanted by the U.S. following intense pressure, but allegedly helped him flee to Guatemala. So the U.S. was trying to extradite this one guy to charge him with something, whatever it might be. And not only did El Salvador refuse that request, right? They released the guy from custody and helped him flee to Guatemala. In fact, U.S. prosecutors alleged that he was escorted by high-level government officials and provided with a firearm before being set free in Guatemala. They gave him a fucking gun and let him loose rather than send him to the United States. He's definitely got shit to hide. Following the letter, Salvadoran authorities sought to recapture him, with officials even discussing a plan to pay a Mexican cartels $1 million to find him. However, he was captured by the Mexican government before, which turned him over to U.S. authorities 2 days later. He is currently detained in Philadelphia. It's kind of wild, right? If you're the law and order guy who locks up all these terrorists and shit, why are you helping one escape to Guatemala and providing him a firearm and an escort? Like, what the fuck? Anyways, back to the rest of our video.
White House, by way of Marco Rubio, has asked repeatedly for Kilmar Abrego Garcia to be returned to the United States, but for whatever reason, Bukele is saying no. Now, was that done as sort of, like, was it genuine? Were they really asking for him back? Or was it done so that they could say that they facilitated his return? If you remember last week, there was a 1 week hold in that case in Maryland. The two sides basically took a pause for a week. And that's now coming out that the reason for that was because they thought that there was going to be some sort of diplomatic resolution, aka that Bukele was going to return Garcia. But then that didn't happen. And then the judge said, okay, no more pause. And more details have come out that have said that the White House originally did realize, like, oh shit, we pooped in our pants, we made a mistake. We sent him down there accidentally. And then when they couldn't facilitate his return, they decided, fuck it, we'll engage in a smear campaign. And so you saw them sort of switch gears very quickly. But what I want to know, what we will all be waiting to find out is, why doesn't Bukele want to release him? Ooh, y'all go get some coffee because
Very weird, huh? What type of deal did they strike to where this guy was willing to take all these deportees and get his people back? Like that's weird that he named 9 people that he really wanted back. MS-13 gang leaders. Very strange, huh? No. Add it to the books of corruption, I guess. Guys, please consider supporting the show at coldbeer.fund, coldbeer.fund. If you want to support the show, that's how we keep it running. That's how we pay the bills around here. We'd greatly appreciate it, especially right now. We're going through a tight spot. But if you can support it, that's great. If you can't, like, share, send the link to somebody, invite somebody. I don't give a fuck. Do something. All right, back to this. As bad as I hate to do it, guess who's back? Phil's back. He has not been live for a month, okay? Today is May 8th. The last time he was live was April 9th. He took a fucking month off. And apparently, Mariah says it's full of excuses of why he's back. Why he's been gone and what he was doing that whole time. Who knows? Sounds like he was fighting some court cases he was losing. Let's see. Here we go. You ready? I heard we get mention of the taco stand. We get mention of court cases, the Supreme Court. So his case did go to the appeals court, right? Apparently in Pennsylvania, it goes to like the Superior Court for like appellate or whatever. And it had an argument panel. That's what it was scheduled for. And that was on April 29th. I haven't seen any releases around that. That's the Scranton Times case, okay? In his other case against Bree, basically, a lot of it got settled and a lot of it got thrown out, and it seems to all be in Bree's favor, right? Some of her claims, well, like one or two of her claims are thrown out. Some of her claims are just granted on summary judgment. They haven't went to court yet. And the latest document he filed was basically they are let's see if I can do this. The summary cases are what they call interlocutory. I think's the way you say it. They are not finalized verdicts, okay, or decisions, right? They're like in a judgment, it is a summary judgment, right? So it's not finalized. His latest document was like, hey, we want these rulings you made to be finalized so we can go ahead and appeal them. So he's planning on appealing the Bree case as well, which he's got money. He's got lawyers. I don't think he's got a case there, but we're about to see. We're about to see what the Superior Court of Pennsylvania thinks about it. So that's where those cases are at. Look, Scranton Times kicked his ass. Looks like Bree's kicking his ass. He's already got one in appeals, and he's trying to get the other one appealed. We'll see how that goes. But anyways, let's see what he had to say.
The Rambler.
Oh, my God. Already. Got like a 19-minute intro here. God, we're already at 5 minutes, and nothing's changed yet. Where the fuck does he pop up at? There we go. A 9-minute intro. 9-minute intro. Let me mute it for you so I can get a copyright strike here. Maybe. Silence. Perfect. He's back, baby. Oh my God, he's playing the music again? Look, he might dance for us. Who knows? Let me turn off your all's audio. He's going to do another round of music, I guess. So he's just sitting here for another 3 minutes while this music plays. Johnny Cash. So he's got an 11-minute intro. 10 minutes and 57 seconds. Holy shit. Oh my God. It's going again. Wait, he stopped the music, maybe. No audio. White hacker, everybody. His teeth are not extra white. It's just that everything around him is normal white, and we haven't seen them in a while, okay? They're extra white compared to a human, yes. But they're just as white as it was before. He doesn't even have his mic on a mic stand. What's holding it? Does he just lay it there? Oh, my God. I'm going to have a goddamn aneurysm. Why did you make me watch this? I hear audio already. I heard clicks. Well, somebody's eating in the background. That was definitely a fork and a plate. 100%. He's putting on some weight. I feel your pain. I need to lose some weight. I was losing weight really well, but then the winter came and I just kind of stayed at the same spot. At least I didn't put weight on, but I'm not doing great right now. Come on, Phil, dude. Hire a guy. You make so much fucking money. Hire a guy. Holy shit.
I mean, I know how to get the sound though. All right, so.
That is his laptop microphone or his computer microphone. It is definitely not the microphone in his hand. That sound is not coming from the microphone in his hand.
I think this thing bit the dust. I don't know. I mean, I know how to get the sound on the sound of the microphone, so it's going to be. I know that's not going to do anything. Oh, boy.
It's a condenser mic powered, right? Like he uses phantom power. You probably don't have any power on it.
I know it's working, but that's not the microphone. That's the. Whatever. Like his microphone. Throw it over there. Anyway, here we are. Let me get resituated.
Oh, God, it sounds so bad. All the echoes, all the plate scraping. So where did we actually start at?
Microphone is off. I have to.
15 minutes in. 15 minutes in, we got audio.
These things here real quick. Won't take more than 60 seconds. Let me try to see everyone. Yeah, so we're going to have a little bit of sound quality issues here for sure because my microphone isn't working, so I'm just working completely now off of the desktop, which is not a good thing to use. But at least you guys can hear me now, right? So that's good. All right, let's see.
Is it though?
Good, we're live. We're ready. Here we go.
A month off. A month off. Imagine the bullshit he's going to come up with.
I don't know what to do because I haven't been live in so long. It's like I forget. You know what I mean? I don't really know what to say or what I'm supposed to talk about. Anyway.
The problem is, the reason Phil doesn't know how to work any of his equipment or anything that's going on is because he never had to, right? Like a lot of streamers start out small and they try to improve the quality because they hope it'll get them more viewers, right? Like I started out with like a shitty stream and tried to improve the quality, hoping that when people come to see it, they weren't immediately turned off. Phil just had this fan base just explode, and they don't give a fuck if he's sitting there typing it out in Morse code while miming actions. Like they don't give a fuck; they're going to be there anyways. So he's never had pressure to make his stream good.
Let's get some shout outs. Tell me where you guys are from so I can
All right.
say next. Maybe that'll buy me some time.
Where is everybody?
Now Then, Minnesota? Really? Is that a place? Now Then. NOWTEGN. Now Then, Minnesota. Vegas boobies. Okay. Right off the bat, we got that. Am I in Hawaii? No, I'm in Lake Havasu. St. Cloud, Florida. Wow, this is...
The echo's so bad.
Hey, Lakeland, Florida. Do an AMA. I can do that if you want. Oswego,
He's married because she's there for the money, obviously.
New York. Trinity, Florida.
I'm sure they signed a prenup.
Sunnyvale, California. Bristol, Tennessee. Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Northeast Ohio. Honeymooners reference. You know, I know that because my grandma Myrtle Beach. Eastern Ontario, Canada. The Moon, Alice. I get it. That's a Honeymooners reference. You know, I know that because my grandfather was a huge Honeymooners fan. San Antonio, Texas, Midvale, Utah, Corrupt, Wisconsin. And I don't think they mean like corrupt like the place. They just mean like it's corrupt. You know how I know? Because I guessed. That's how. Green Bay, Wisconsin, Palestine, Texas, Denver, Colorado, Poland, Motherland, Bayview, Ohio, Rockdale, Texas, Kimball, Tennessee, Echoing, yes, desert, me too. Asheville, Ohio. It's all hard surfaces in here and very high ceilings. And my microphone's not working. So it's fun. Arizona, Des, I know it's echoing. It's very, there's
Echo.
here and very high ceilings. And my
God, that you realize that echo, screaming drunk fucking trailer trash piece of shit was like 3 years ago now.
microphone's not working. So it's fun. Arizona desert, me too. Asheville, Ohio, Pope, good or bad, that's probably not a place. Texas, Tualatin, Oregon, Tualatin.
Maybe even longer than that. 4 years ago? Holy shit. It's been a while.
Tualatin, I don't know, Oregon. San Juan, Utah, Midland, Michigan. Do a couple more here. Buffalo, New York, Burbank, California, Payson, Arizona, and Anchorage, Alaska, way up north of north, way up there. All right, cool. So obviously I'm back, and let me just talk about that real quick.
I think he's probably back because he sees the difference in his income and his viewership or whatever. Like if they just kept sending money and no one ever unsubscribed and he didn't need any more money because it was coming in, he wouldn't be back, I don't think.
I don't know what else to say. I mean, I guess I just have to be honest.
He's greedy. I mean, he has enough money to fucking retire, clearly. Greedy.
Like, I burned myself out. You know? I don't know if you guys...
On secret missions.
Lighting, right, here we go. I don't know if you guys have ever dealt with burnout before, but it's a real thing. You know, doing so many shows. I think over the last 5 years, I've done now over 1,000 shows in 5 years. That's a lot. You know, I got burned out. It's kind of the same with anything. Like if you do anything too much, you're gonna burn yourself out. And that I think is kind of what I did. And I just it's hard. And it's not only the burnout from the shows. That's one thing, but it's the burnout from dealing with all the crap that I dealt with over the last year and a half. It's gotten really bad over the last year and a half. The lawsuits that I'm going through, which I know you guys want to know a little bit about that, so we'll talk about that just briefly tonight too. My personal life, traveling back and forth, having one family on this side.
By the way, in 5 years, if you were working a job, right? In 5 years, that's on average about 250 work days a year. That's 1,250 days. So he's complaining about 1,000 shows in 5 years, right? But if you just worked a regular job, you'd have to show up 1,250 times. Whatever.
Side of the United States and the other family on that side of the United States, my kids being in Pennsylvania, my stepdaughters being in Arizona. It's a lot, and I'm not trying to make excuses because that's a lifestyle that I chose, so it's not like, oh, poor Phil. I'm not asking for anybody's sympathy, but I'm trying to give you an idea of why I haven't been as live as much. Then, even after all that was going on, I was still consistently doing live streams, and still I started doing some work for the administration.
Working for Trump.
And then it really hit me.
As soon as he started working for Trump about 2 months ago, he had to cut him back.
So it's real, I don't plan on going anywhere. I still want to continue to do shows like this. I still want to provide you guys with intel and information that I feel only I have, as opposed to any other truther, that may be out there. But there comes a limit where, at the end of the day, it can be 5 p.m., 6 p.m. at night, and I have a show scheduled for 7 or 8 p.m. And it's just...
What is this? Can you guys see this light over here in his Punisher skull? See this light? Why the fuck is it moving? Is there wind in his house, or is it from a ceiling fan that's out of balance?
I just don't have any energy to do it. And
it's so distracting.
Levels, and there's a couple things wrong with what's going inside my body. Nothing like major health scenario or anything like that. But I'm working on fixing those things. So I anticipate things getting better. I know I've said that before, but I can't really see the future. You know what I mean? So I can't really tell you that, even though I said it before and it didn't really happen. I didn't know. You know what I mean? I didn't know how I was going to feel. I didn't know what I was going to do. So I apologize for all that. But it's been tumultuous, and I try to stay focused on two things. Number one, God. I feel like God is going to guide me to where I need to be. And if I ask God and I pray on something and I get advice for that, I feel like God is going to give me...
God definitely doesn't know who the fuck you are, buddy.
...the answer as to what I should do. And that's kind of what I've been doing. And number two, family. If I have a choice...
No, I think the light's bouncing off of it, but it's moving for some reason.
Coming on and doing a show...
There is a cord there, but... I think when the cord lights it up, it's just got blue LEDs. but the light that's bouncing off of it's moving like crazy.
Or going to my son's baseball game or something like that, to that effect.
It's very distracting to me.
I choose the former. So not to really try to make excuses for why I haven't been here, but truthfully speaking, I think you guys all know this by now, and you know me. I'm going to do what I feel is best for me. I'm going to do what I feel is best for...
And fuck you.
And I'm...
Fuck all the people paying his bills. He's doing what's best for him. By the way, here's a recent video from March 4th. Rumble tells me it's earned over $1,000. So he gets on here and makes up these bullshit things, and they make $1,000 or more, right? But he can't even find the time to do that.
I'm going to do what I feel is best for each and every one of us. And if I feel like I shouldn't go live because I'm going to flop it, if I do, I'm not.
It tells me that his video from March 4th of this year made $1,026.22.
Go live. I don't want to do that just to put content on my channel. So many other live streamers do that just to create content. I'm not one of them. You know, I'm only going to go if I feel like it's necessary, needed, and if I have the proper ability and energy to do so. I really wore myself out last 5 years. And it feels good. For me, it feels good to know that Trump is back in office and kicking ass. That's what feels the best for me. Because everything that we wanted to happen over the past 4 years that Trump was not in office, publicly anyway, is happening now. And it might be happening at a little bit slower of a pace than we wanted it to. Meaning, why didn't we usher in ABS? Why didn't we usher in mass arrests? Well, I talked about this on my last show a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
That's not necessarily the most important thing to do. There were two very important things to do. One was stop the trafficking and sexual exploitation of children. Trump had done that for the last 4 years, and now getting into office, he's even getting more into it. And then number two is getting rid of the cabal's source of money so that they can't put us back in the same position.
But no, you've been talking about the EBS and the revaluation and Nasara Gassara as the most important thing for years, but now it's not important.
That we're in right now, or we have been over the last several decades, anytime in the future. And Trump is doing all of that. We're going to talk a little bit about that tonight. We're going to talk about some things that I know, and we'll probably do a little bit of an AMA. Yeah, that's how tonight's going to go. Not a super long show, because I realize that when I take those long breaks, a week or two, my voice just my throat is just, you know what I mean? So I'm going to try to do as much as I can.
I wonder what he's doing with his throat when he takes those long breaks.
My voice breaks down, and I start to feel it in my throat. I'm also getting over we have terrible allergies in the Northeast this year, and I mean terrible, worse than I've ever seen. And it just completely crushed me. I thought I was sick. Maybe I was sick. Maybe I did get a cold. I don't know. But it's been bad. I'm getting over a really congestion behind the sinus area and all sorts of mucousy stuff. So it's shitty. But anyway, what am I talking about? Oh, lawsuits. A lot of stupid crap's going around about lawsuits that I've entered into and people have entered into against me. I want you guys to understand something. I don't think everybody...
You lost. You lost the Scranton Times. You lost all the major core parts. There's still a little bit to settle in court with Bree, but you lost all the major points of it, and she won all of her major points.
Nobody really understands how lawsuits really work, and I've had a front row seat to lawsuits for the last few years now. Obviously, between the Scranton Times case, the Bree Bourgel case, the taco stand case, the Alvear case. Obviously, I'm right in the thick of lawsuits. So if you are someone like me and you have the past history that I have, you will not get a fair shake in the courts.
This is absolutely a lie. Since the inception of these cases, he's been telling everybody how it's open and shut, slam dunk. There's no chance he can't win. They violated the law. They did this. They did that. I'm going to win. There's no chance that this blah, 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 blah. He hasn't even got a case to a fucking jury yet. Much less losing a hard-fought case. They haven't even went past the procedural part of it because he doesn't have a fucking claim here. If his case had grounds and merits and wasn't automatically stopped because he already admitted to the relationship with a minor, then it would have went months and months longer in front of a jury that would have returned a verdict. But he doesn't even meet the core requirement to have a case against these people, much less a winnable case.
In your local jurisdiction.
And best case scenario that he's hoping for in front of the Supreme Court is that, or I'm sorry, the appellate court, is that they vacate a decision, a judgment, and he's still got to go prove it in court. They're not just going to hand him a win. They're not going to go to court and be like, oh, yeah, you're right. We looked at your case, and now you win, and Scranton Times owes you $10 million. Like the best case, which isn't going to happen, I don't think. It's very, 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 very long shot, like 99.9% positive they're just going to uphold the ruling. But if he did somehow win, they would just vacate that ruling, and he'd still have to go through the court, still have to go through a jury, still have to prove a case.
It's not going to happen. And if you want more evidence of that, not related to me, just look at Donald Trump. Everything that Trump, and it's not just Trump, he's just the best example because it's been recently happening to him.
Phil can't get a fair case just like Donald Trump can't get a fair case, right?
Every time
Makes
Trump
sense.
goes through the courts, he fails. He fails at every level of court. He fails at state, then he fails at Supreme Court in the state, then he fails at the district, then he fails at, there's all these failures. And then they keep getting sent back to that original court. So that's kind of what I'm going through right now. There's no way that I can win a lawsuit in Lackawanna County, Pennsylvania. It's impossible. But I'm forced to file the lawsuit there. And that's what I've done. So there's appeals that are ongoing. The Scranton Times was ruled in their favor to dismiss the case that I had against the Scranton Times, but that's being appealed to the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. I don't know if we're going to win there. I think we are. There's no ruling on it yet on the appeal. But even if we don't, we're going to district court after that. Even if we don't win there, we're going to the Supreme Court. So this is like an ongoing.
Going to the federal Supreme Court. That's where he's going with this civil case of his. His description of court in the case and appealing from state to federal districts court was hilarious. Yes. He has no idea what he's talking about. Thank you for the donation, though. I appreciate it.
Same thing with the Bree case. I had absolutely no hope that I would win my lawsuit against.
That's also a lie. You remember how many times he told us that he was going to win this, right? Over and over and over and over and over and over again. That she lied, she did this, she can't do that, she told me something else, she basically said I was innocent before and now she's saying I'm not, I'm going to take her down, I'm going to put her in place, all these things. And now he's like, I knew I couldn't win. I knew I wasn't going to win, and instead I'm going to have to go to district, and then I'm going to go to a different district, then we're going to go to the Supreme Court.
Redo Borgel in Lackawanna County. Lackawanna County is one of the most corrupt counties in the United States. And if you
wait, his Bree case is not in Lackawanna, right? It's in Luzerne.
Want evidence of that? Go read about the past county.
No, it's the Nick Alvear that's under Luzerne. Never mind.
Commissioners, go read about the past mayor of Scranton. It's terrible. I mean, it's just a corrupt system top to bottom. I don't know what else to say. It's just really, really bad. And the judges that are there are no better than the politicians that were in office. So I had absolutely no intentions on winning any lawsuit in Lackawanna County. Myself and my team of attorneys always knew that we were going to have to appeal. We were going to have to go to the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, where things are not as corrupt. And even after that,
this isn't true, right? I mean, he's just lying to you now, because he's already told us all the things. Told us how much he was going to win, what he was going to do, all the things. It's just stupid.
After that, if we lose there, we go to district court, federal court in the United States, and appeal there. And there, I do think that we're going to have a victory. So there's been a lot of rulings where these judges are just completely misinterpreting the law. I don't know how else to say it. They're misinterpreting what the law is, and they can get away with it because they're a judge.
Do you think all the judges, every case he goes to, they're just all misinterpreting the law? Who do you think understands the law better? The former lawyers who did so well at being a lawyer got appointed to judges, and they've been that judge for years and years and years, decades in some cases, or Phil and the people he pays insane amounts of money to represent him.
Except when another judge says, oh no, you can't do that. And that's where we're going. So everything is kind of just plateaued right now. Like, there's really no ongoings other than the initial rulings in the favor of the people that I'm suing, but that's going to be appealed. I'm going to win. I'm going to win. I'm going to win every single one of them. I'm going to win against Bree. I'm going to win against the Times. I'm going to win against Chris Kelly. I'm going to win against Alvear. And I'm going to win against Taco Stand. I think it's funny that I call.
The only person I think he had an actual case against was Nick Alvear, but whatever.
Her Taco Stand, but it was like my idea was the taco stand. She's just like a redheaded nobody. You know what I mean? So is what it is. But yeah, so I don't even think that, honestly, like my case against her, I don't even think I'll win in her jurisdiction, because that's where I had to sue her in California. So it's gonna be long. Everything's gonna be long. These lawsuits suck. They take time. The only reason that Trump gets through them so quickly is because he's Trump. But to hear an appeal, it could be 6 months, a year, and then even after they hear the appeal, they don't have to rule on it right away. It's like a whole conundrum.
By the way, when he takes this, he doesn't get. So he argued before, or I've heard him argue before, that he plans on taking this to appeal, where they're going to actually get a chance to argue their case, and they're going to present this other evidence, and I didn't even get to submit this evidence, blah, blah, blah. The appeal, you don't go to the appeal and have a new case. They look at what already happened. So what all is already submitted, and we saw what a time Phil had just submitting shit. It's what has already been ruled on. They're looking at the case as it happened. He's not going to go there and present like some new damning evidence, like it's a courtroom drama. They're going to look at the case as it happened and see if it was ruled fairly.
So, but I'm so confident in every single one of them. I wouldn't say that if I wasn't. Obviously, these court cases are my business and not yours, and they shouldn't be public knowledge. But with everybody that, excuse me, with everybody that spreads, the public information about the cases, I feel like I have to comment on them, and that's what I did. Now, I only spent 5 minutes on that, and that's not what tonight is all about. I just wanted to address it because I see people commenting about it on Telegram and such, and
he's going to lose the taco stand case, but he'll take that to the Supreme Court too.
Figured that hearing from me what's really going on instead of listening to all the shitty rumors that are out there,
where I had to sue her, yes,
is probably better than
that's what he said.
Filling your mind with incorrect assumptions and incorrect information that are coming from losers. So,
losers.
Oh yeah, I love redheads. I have 2 redheaded children. You don't love this redhead. I can tell you right now, no one loves this one. No, it's impossible.
Nobody.
At least that's my opinion. I'm fairly certain it's possible to love that girl. Anyway, there's a lot going on, from the Pope,
because Phil tried to ruin her business,
to tariffs, to Trump talking about Mars and the sun exploding, and the stock market, obviously gold and silver still very prominent. Explain corruption in our judicial branch. We talked about that tonight. I think what we're going to do is, the best thing to do is an AMA. An AMA is an Ask Me Anything, so there's literally no boundaries. You can ask me anything you want about anything. It could be political. It doesn't have to be political. It could be about my awesome tattoos. Whatever you want. You can ask me anything you want. That's what an AMA is. Ask me anything. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll do an AMA, and we'll start right now. Here we go. I'll go for as long as I could tonight. This is kind of it's been a while since I've been here, right? So it's kind of like a reintroduction, like a get loose kind of thing for me. So I'll go as long as I could, and then we'll schedule another one this week. How's Carrie? Carrie's great. Carrie's here with me right now in Havasu. We're actually, I think you guys know this, we've been building a house in Lake Havasu for forever. And it's finally about to be done. So I came into
thank God.
Stuff.
I was worried about it, honestly.
With that house, we're moving some money around from one place to another place. We're selling the current house that we're in because we don't need 2 houses here, obviously. So yeah, we're doing great. Carrie's here. She's actually a little sick right now. She got a little bit of a cold. I don't know if I gave it to her. She says I did, but I doubt that highly. Yeah, we're great. Things have never been better between Carrie and I love the girl more than anything in the world. Sarah Hops, the Phase 17 Cities 1 event. Is that referring to, quote, motherboard 17?
Sarah Hops is that dick licker that always decodes everything.
Cities all connected to supercomputer motherboards that all connects to one big event. Motherboard in GM is 119, mirrored is 911. First of all, I don't know where that initial intel came from, the 17 Cities 1 event. I did see it on Telegram, and I saw it on the channel of Ezra Cohen Watnick. However, Ezra Cohen Watnick is not on Telegram. Whoever's controlling that channel,
Phil would know.
some sort of information in there about, and what it says is 17 Cities 1 event, and then it gave a list of 17 cities. And what Sarah is asking about is, could that one event be what she's saying? Interestingly enough, even though that's not Ezra's channel, the information is slightly correct. What do I mean by that?
How interesting.
17 cities that were supposed to experience an event. But the list is wrong. The 17 cities aren't the right cities. There's 3, maybe 4 of them, if I remember correctly, that are incorrect and should be replaced by different cities. So I don't know who controls that channel. I truly don't. And it's interesting that they know about the event, but they don't know about the correct cities, which leads me to believe they're half in, half out. I don't know. Now, getting back to what you said about the motherboard and computer, I can tell you this: it is related to some form of, careful here,
Tower
I can't.
comms.
And I wish I could, but I cannot. In addition to that, I also don't know if it's still going to happen. I haven't been hearing about this for quite a while, and I feel like I would have heard something if it were still in the works. So I don't know. I don't know that. Oh, I can't answer about the milk thing. I'm sorry. The question is, you said, quote, and instead I pour the milk, end quote. Were you leading us to a programming language called MILK by CSAIL? This program helps improve memory management for programs dealing with large scattered data sets. You know, I mean, you're really good at researching stuff, obviously, but I cannot answer that question. That's something that I'm going to have to leave for now and then come back to after the thing happens that I was referring to with that message. Sorry about that one. Next question, is the EE Systems medbed technology? No. But medbed technology is currently in your face. You probably aren't recognizing it as medbed technology, but it is.
Ooh, there we go.
It is.
Guys, it's built into Teslas.
Teed up, but it's not EE Systems.
That's what I think. It's built into Teslas.
Your Valkanut and Tree of Life, that's my tattoos that Michelle is referring to here, equals 101 in Gematria. The Helm of Ah, which is also not, wow, you know my tattoos pretty well, huh? The Helm of Ah is 88 in Gematria, which equals Trump. These are examples of Fibonacci sequences. You're right, they are. That's why they are.
Uh-oh. You're right.
All Fibonacci sequences. I don't know if I've ever said that on a live stream, so that's very good on your part, Michelle, to pick up on something like that. Smart code. Have you or your personas used the Fibonacci sequence in encryption and coding, especially as a backdoor algorithm? Oh, absolutely. So let me tell you this. One of the key things to writing a successful algorithm is to use the Fibonacci number sequence. The golden ratio is so prevalent and so important to many computer programming aspects, including algorithm. So to not use it, I feel like, first of all, the best coders and the best hackers and the best...
What? The Fibonacci sequence needs to be used in coding?
Anyone so prevalent and so important successful algorithm is to use, especially as a backdoor algorithm. Oh, absolutely. Smart code. Have you or your personas used the Fibonacci sequence in encryption and coding, especially as a backdoor algorithm? Oh, absolutely. So let me tell you this. One of the key things to writing a successful algorithm is to use the Fibonacci number sequence. The golden ratio is so prevalent and so important to many computer programming aspects, including algorithm. So to not use it, I feel like, first of all, the best coders and the best hackers and the best anyone in the world when it relates to computers or technology or to energy or to just really a basic understanding of.
Okay, so none of these things tie in, okay? You would be surprised how simple a lot of coding languages are. Like the problem is basically you have to like know this library back here of commands and how those commands interact with each other, how it works. But like the simplest things like fucking for loops, like there is no Fibonacci sequence in there. Okay. You set up something and then you have like statements like if this happens, then this it's actually really, really simple, short of having this knowledge from doing it over and over again. Coding is not that hard. I guess if you're doing, it could be a lot harder if you're doing something that's never been done before. But most coding is not that hard, as long as you have this knowledge. Like you could look up everything and write a simple code. You could easily, right? You could Google everything and write a simple code. And a lot of times it's laid out in almost plain text, like if X happens, then Y. Wait 3 seconds, then if Y happened, then Z, right? It's really simple. There is no fucking Fibonacci sequence in coding, in hacking, in backdoors, whatever the fuck he's talking about. None of this happens.
Anything in life. Know and use the Fibonacci sequence regularly. And there's also an enormous amount of proof, maybe speculatory proof, if that's a thing, that incorporating Fibonacci sequence into your life in some way, shape, or form is actually better for your health. And the reason people think that, and the reason people go down that pathway with the Fibonacci sequence, is because the Fibonacci sequence is made by God. The Fibonacci sequence,
and as we know, God was the ultimate hacker.
Is in everything in nature, from the bumblebee to a leaf on a tree to a wave in the ocean to your ear. Your ear is one giant Fibonacci sequence. The toroidal that is responsible for energy on our planet is a giant Fibonacci. Fibonacci is everywhere, and they barely teach it in schools. And this is one reason why Trump is ransacking the education industry right now, because no one teaches anything that we actually need to know. So yes, Fibonacci is absolutely used in.
Your kids are going to have 18 years of Fibonacci understanding 101.
A whole bunch of encryption and a whole bunch of backdoor coding, as well as algorithm, many times over, not only by me, but by...
Phil claims that he's a hacker, a coder, and the most prolific anonymous poster ever on the internet. He couldn't explain to me what the dark web is, how you access a dark web website, what a URL would look like, what a trip code. He couldn't explain to me what a fucking trip code was. And now he's telling you how to fucking hack with a Fibonacci sequence.
The best experts in the world when it comes to this stuff. So, good question, Sean. Are you related to the first NSA director, Lieutenant Ralph Canine? No, I'm not. What is the deal with Carney? Did Trump do what he could to accelerate Canada being annexed? So, I don't know when it's going to happen, but
Trump and his beliefs are basically making every other country in the world elect the Liberal Party, right? Everybody's seeing what it looks like when a super right-wing person gets elected, and they're like, oh, hell no. Even, I think was it Australia? Australia had this insane election where their more liberal party was not even expected to do even marginally well. Like the right wing was doing so fucking good. They were going to win. Everybody knew about it. Go to the polls. Nope, not happening. Trump, it is the Trump effect on the rest of the world.
I could tell you that it is a near certainty that Canada is going to become a state of the United States. And further, if we're going to go a step further than that, it is just as much of a certainty that Greenland is also going to be a state in the United States. The question will be, will Greenland and Canada be one state together, or will they be separate? And that's kind of what the ongoing discussions are right now, but that's happening. That
makes sense. It's happening.
And this leads back to Justin Trudeau and all the other corrupt politicians that have been in Canada for a long time. And there's something special about Greenland. I don't think anyone's really brought it up, including me, but you'll see.
You'll see.
Phyllis,
I have to make it up first, or someone in my chat make it up.
hyperbaric chambers, a part of
Looking at you, Sarah Hops.
beds. Hyperbaric is the saturation of the body with pure oxygen. Interesting question. I was about to buy a hyperbaric chamber about a year or two ago. I can't remember when it was. I never did, but I'm still going to it. I just don't know why I did it. It just reminded me to do that, actually. Anyway, a hyperbaric chamber is like a long, kind of looks like an MRI tube, like a long tube thing that you go in, shut the door, and it pumps it full of pure oxygen. And that oxygen, when you get out of there, you have an extreme amount of energy. It just pumps your body filled with energy.
It's like a hyperbaric chamber is usually like 2 to 3 times normal air pressure, atmospheric pressure.
Pro athletes use it nowadays to, before games and during seasons, especially basketball players that have to run a lot, soccer players that have to run a lot. And interestingly enough, back in the biblical days of Earth, oxygen was much more prevalent in our atmosphere. So right now, I don't know what oxygen is in our atmosphere, but I want to say it's like 60, 70 some percent, maybe even less, 50%. Back in the biblical days, it was, close to 100%. So with that much oxygen in the Earth's atmosphere, you could literally run across.
It used to be a lot when Jesus was here. It's like 20%, right, chat? It's like 20%. Back when Jesus was here, it's basically like 100%. That's what Jesus was preaching about. I think oxygen makes up like 20% of the atmosphere.
You could walk for days straight without having to sit down. Like your muscles just recover, your lungs just recover. There's just oxygen. So somewhere along the line, something happened in Earth's atmosphere to introduce these other gases that, number one, we don't live as long. Methuselah, oldest person in the Bible, 969 years old. Even Adam, I think Adam lived to 800. Cain and Abel, about 600-700 years old. And you look at that now and you say, well, how could they have lived that long? Well, Earth was different back then.
I think the highest it's been is like 35% or some shit, which is a big deal, over 20%, but it's God, you're so fucking dumb.
Did it have something to do with the flood? Maybe.
Yep.
Mess up our atmospheric
Oxygen generator.
I don't know, but
Yep.
hyperbaric chambers are a really, really big thing. You're trying to relate them to med beds, which I think is smart, but not necessarily on point. Med beds are energy. Med beds are the purest form of Earth's energy injected into your body. So oxygen plays a part in that, but we don't use Earth's energy how we should. We don't use it for utility purposes. We don't use it for heat. We don't use it for light. We have money laundering that steps in the way of using Earth for all of our needs. We don't need any of these companies. We don't need oil. We don't need gas. We don't need any of that. Earth wasn't made.
None of it.
The oil that we mine is from
None of it.
everybody that perished, both animals, humans, and otherwise in the flood. You know, got buried under sediment, and over time, oil formed. That's why you have packets of oil in certain places. But Earth never had.
What did he just say?
No, mine is from, we don't need any of these companies. We don't need oil. We don't need gas. We don't need any of that. Earth wasn't made with any of that stuff. The oil that we mine is from everybody that perished, both animals, humans, and otherwise in the flood. You know, got buried under sediment, and over time, oil. That's why you have packets of oil in certain places.
From Noah's flood.
But Earth never had any of that stuff, and we didn't need it. Earth didn't need it because God made Earth perfectly. So we don't have to be mining these things with these big machines that we didn't have back in the beginning ages of Earth. So you're on the right track when it comes to med beds, but you got to make a.
Most of our oil pockets come from marine aquatic plants, marine organisms, plankton, shit like that, all piled up in an area that was trapped. But whatever.
A little bit, and then maybe you'll see. Oxygen is 21%. I knew it was really low.
No, you said, what is it now? 60%? Oxygen's only 60% of our atmosphere? How crazy is that, guys? I knew it was really low.
Yeah, just imagine that over 90. Imagine how you feel. If you've never been in a hyperbaric chamber, try to find one in your location, in your city that you live, or somewhere near, and go in it. I don't think they're that expensive to like go in for half an hour or an hour, but they would change your life completely. People's names aren't always real. Next question. Aren't always real in the plan.
The highest it's ever been, I believe, is like 35, less than 40%, if I had to guess. Phil thought it was 60% today.
X is the one site where the middle initial A appears in Ezra A. Cohen. Is Ezra Cohen his real name? Do his initials have a meaning? Well, first of all, that is his real name. There's nothing funny going on with any kind of comm that would indicate, Ezra is trying to use initials to do anything. That's his real name. It's not his birth name, though.
He's a Kennedy, baby.
Legal name. Just not his birth name. Next question. Before I say too much. When you included the word Jeopardy in your comms to the Anons, were you contacting Michael Ellis, who is now Deputy Director of the CIA? Was I contacting him? No. I wasn't contacting him, but I was referencing, I'm not going to say anymore.
Thank God.
How and when will Trump's cabinet change, as you mentioned in one of your recent car videos? So, when Trump puts a cabinet into place, Trump doesn't intend for those people in the cabinet to be there for the entire 4-year term. It happened in his first administration, and it will happen again now.
No, it is not dinosaurs. Tiny marine organisms, algae, plant material, plankton, all that shit. They actually lived before the dinosaurs. They die, sink to the bottom of whatever body of water they are at the time, buried under sediment over time, the pressure and decomposition make it.
We're a few months into this
They're not even from the same era.
administration, so you're not really seeing what I'm talking about yet. But the people that are in place right now are in place to do a specific duty, which they will do, and then they will be replaced with someone else who also has to do a specific duty. So you'll see some turnover. I think that happens in a lot of administrations, but Trump...
I think people get it confused because we call it fossil fuels, and fossils are almost automatically linked to dinosaurs, but they're not even sent from the same era.
Specifically has an incredible plan. And it's incredible. I don't know what else to say. When you... I'll take it.
The plants are much older.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank God. Phil's a squirter, for those who don't know. He's got to get ready.
Best wife in the world. gets me Gatorade because she is watching my show and she sees me coughing more, which means I'm not hydrating enough because my soda was out. So I got a Gatorade. It's great. It's like on-demand service, you know? I'm gonna get in trouble for that one. Anyway,
I don't even know what he's saying.
Gatorade. It's great. It's like on-demand service, you know? Coughing more, which means I'm not hydrating enough because
On-demand service?
so I got a Gatorade. It's great. It's like on-demand service, you know? I'm gonna get in trouble for that one.
On-demand service.
When you post all eyes on me, does me stand for ME, such as Michael Ellis's initials? No.
It's a mic clip. It looks like a microphone stand clip, like for like an SM58 or something.
What do you know about the revaluation of the Iraqi dinar? Well, the Iraqi dinar, I don't know what, you know, I can't sit here and tell you that it's going to be revalued at this specific thing or whatever. I have no idea. But I do know that it is a key step in the overall revaluation for all currency. And it also relates to gold and silver. It also relates to Nasera, Jacera, and so forth. So it is a pretty big point on the marker map, so to speak. But we're not there yet. When creating the name Snowden, was there a double?
You remember when he edited himself into that whiteboard that had all the people associated with Trump on it, had some Q people on it or whatever? He edited himself and put his own name in there.
Meaning behind the name Snowden equals ends now in gematria. I didn't create that name, so I don't know if they had something behind it.
Oh, for those that are new here, Phil is the real Edward Snowden, and the Edward Snowden that you're used to is an actor that the government played to act as if he were Phil, and so they pretend to chase him around the world, but it's really Phil who knew about 9/11, who stole all the data, who leaked it to the world, who caught the satanic pedophile Democrats sacrificing babies. He did all that.
If it was an acronym for something, or if it was gematria based, or what, I don't know where that came from or who came up with it. It was just kind of assigned, and you don't really have like.
When I asked him about this Snowden thing, he said that all the hackers that work at the NSA at one time were called Snowdens.
You don't get a list of names and you're like, all right, go ahead, pick one. It's not like that. Edward Snowden, I don't want to get too far into this, but it is you guys know what witness protection is, right? Think of Edward Snowden as the most intricate, strategic, high-level witness protection ever.
Phil is a known, like, this isn't like a weirdo that I found. Phil is like huge. We started covering him when he was small, but he's huge. Like, he's bought like 9 houses, millions of dollars on cars and trips, and has 3 houses in Italy that he owns now, and 1 in Hawaii and 2 in Lake Havasu. Like, he's huge in the QAnon movement, the truth or whatever. And people just give him tons of fucking money. He's also got a couple scams, multi-level marketing deals that he does that makes him money, and rolling over 401k to a gold-backed IRA that he does for people with a minimum of $25,000. He makes 6% on that when they roll it over. They lose about fucking 40% the moment they roll it over. It's a real big scam. He's made a ton of money and has a huge following. So even the Daily Beast, the Rolling Stones and shit have written articles about him.
That's all it was. It took witness protection to above and beyond anything that has ever been done.
By the way, you think if they could give him a new identity, get him into witness protection, make his life, the rest of his life, he'll be protected, they could get that pesky little fucking a minor off his background. Like, you're telling me the government employs a guy to pretend to be you, to run around the world and give interviews to keep attention off you, but they can't get that, hey, he fucked a kid when he was a baseball coach. They can't get that off your background? Seems like I would start there. Like, hey, my background says I was fucking kids. Can we start with that? And then we'll start interviewing actors to play me. Whatever.
For any witness in protection. And it worked. The whole world was fooled. Still are, which is fine with me. Gatorade is super bad for you, but this is Gatorade Zero. This is totally different. It doesn't have the same stuff that regular Gatorade is, especially sugar. It has no sugar in it whatsoever, and the electrolytes in here are just as good as water. So, yeah. But no, as far as double meaning, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Why is the number 13 important to the plan and the people behind the plan? I don't know of the number 13 being important to any part of the plan.
I would love to see a day where his hundreds of thousands of followers or whatever are radicalized. They finally realize he lied to them the entire time. They made him a multimillionaire with donations and bullshit, and he can't even appear out in public because people are wanting to get their pound of flesh, if you know what I mean.
Other than being used sometimes in like comms, but then it's also related to another number, another sequence of numbers. So I'm not with you there. I'm not following you there.
It's the Fibonacci sequence, idiot.
Have you crossed paths with Israel's Unit 8200? They're basically the NSA of Israel. Adam Rogers is a partner and teammate founded by past Unit 8200 personnel. Is this move by Rogers part of the plan? There's like 7 questions there. Have I ever crossed paths with 8200? Well, if you're a dairy farmer,
okay, here we go.
Paths with cows. And it's just part of your profession. Like you're gonna have to deal with cows. So when you work for the NSA, you're gonna have to deal with other intelligence units, other members of the intelligence community, and not just domestically, but worldwide. So of course, anybody that would have been in the CIA or the NSA would have done something at some point with the Israeli 8200. But I want to remind you something real quick. Israel.
He always has the worst analogies. If you're a dairy farmer, sometimes you just like, wonder what happened if I stuck my dick in there.
Is a created state for the cabal. It's the country. If you could assign a country to the cabal, it would be Israel. Israel is not what everybody thinks it is. Israel is the military arm of the cabal, or was the military arm of the cabal. So anything related to Israel, including any intelligence.
So when Trump emphatically, over the top, no matter what, supports Israel, no questions asked, what does that mean, Phil?
Unit, whether it's 8200 or otherwise, is simply just another branch of the cabal's arsenal. So when you mentioned Admiral Rogers and teammate and all the other stuff that you said, this, I don't know specifically what's going on with that, but I can tell you it's probably I don't want to say an infiltration, but a redesignation of the unit as a whole. That's what I'm thinking. I could look into it though and see if I can find out a little bit more. Is Pam Bondi compromised? No. Don't
8200 is Israel's cyber warfare wing.
don't listen to these yahoos out there. Pam Bondi is an ultimate patriot, and there's absolutely no treachery going on there. Nor the Cash Patel, and they're reading some stuff about. See, this is what I talk about. Like, some people put content on their channels just because they know you're looking for something. So when they say something like Pam Bondi's compromised, Cash Patel's compromised, Donald Trump isn't really Donald Trump. You know, like, they're just doing that to get views. No, I can do that. I can do that 5 times a week. My views will go through the roof. You saw what my numbers were. Like, I was the top streamer on Rumble, I think, other than
Wrong. He's never been the top streamer on Rumble. He's never been featured on the front page. He's never been in any of the lists that they make in the top 10 or anything.
What's his name? Oh Lord, what's his name? Bongino. I was a top streamer other than Bongino when I was going 3-4 times a week. I could do it. I could probably pass Bongino. I was about to, and then things got busy. So anybody could put content on their.
He was second to Bongino only.
Just to get you talking about something else. Don't buy into that shit. Don't buy into it.
Sure you will.
$1,000 silver. Well, I think it related to. I put a post out last week about how. Excuse me.
He got a shit ton of his people through multi-level marketing to buy way overpriced silver. So basically, you pay like $500 a year to be in this MLM, and they claim they're giving you this good deal on silver, but it's basically just like silver rounds for like, you should be buying at spot price, okay, or maybe a little bit more like when you get like a kukri or a kangaroo or whatever, or a maple leaf, you pay a little bit above spot for those things. Instead, they're charging upwards of like 5, 8, 10 times spot price and calling it collector silver. But you have to be on this autosaver program to where you have to order at least three coins a month that automatically deliver to you, blah, blah, blah. But Phil makes a percentage off all of that, and he's got hundreds and hundreds of people. He was the first one to ever. It's an MLM program, so you have different levels where you're like an ambassador and then a captain and like a super freedom captain. He was the first one ever to get to their highest level, the elite presidential gold, whatever. And when he was doing that, it was like, it was a shit ton of money. It was like $7,000 a week he was making in fucking commissions. It's insane.
I put a post out last week on Telegram about how one of the major gold.
Yeah, she was appointed to something retarded. It was like Israel Holocaust Memorial Board of Directors or something, Siggy.
Silver distributors are predicting a $50,000 path for gold per ounce. And they actually did a pretty good job of why they think it's going to go there.
Phil thinks the reason he got people to invest in his MLM because they were getting special rates on silver. You automatically get it. He gets paid. You can make money by selling it to other people. That gold and silver are going to be $20,000, $500,000, $100,000 an ounce, whatever. And silver is actually going to pass gold. So if gold goes to $50,000, then silver will probably be $100,000.
Obviously, when we talk about metals, we never really know what's going to happen, right? It's all.
Siggy is an old Real Housewives star, and like a super Jewish person. That's why her and Derek Johnson, super Zionist, I guess. That's why her and Derek Johnson parted ways. But she's Jewish. Siggy Flicker is her name. She was on Real Housewives show, and now she's been appointed to a Holocaust Museum board or some shit.
All based off research and hypothesis and educated guess work. But I think what they put out was very relevant, and they're basically saying that gold could very realistically, within a very short period of time, go to $50,000 an ounce. Now, let me tell you what that means for silver.
Okay.
Where do gold and silver come from? Is it made in a lab? Could you put certain things in a mold, put it in an oven, and then you got gold coming out of there? Nope. Gold and silver are elements. They're found naturally on Earth. They cannot be recreated, even though people have tried. They cannot be recreated. So it comes from the ground. You mine it. There are silver mines and there are gold mines. And here's the thing.
I don't think, no, gold is not produced on the Earth, right? Gold is from outer space, right? Am I crazy? Gold is not formed within Earth's core and pushed to the crust. It originates in outer space and is thought to be a byproduct of the explosion of stars. Specifically, it's believed to be created during supernova explosions or neutron star collisions. These events release massive amounts of energy, causing heavier elements, including gold, to fuse together.
There's only a certain amount. Once you mine all of it, it's gone. It won't be around forever. You won't be able to mine gold and silver forever. You might find new mines here and there and take it out of there, but eventually, I don't know, how many years from now? 100, 50, 20, 10, 1? Have we already mined all the gold? I don't know. What I do know is this. There's a limited supply. And we all know about supply and demand. It's one of the things that they, for some reason, taught you in high school. Once it's mined and there's no more, you can't create it. So the ratio that comes out of the ground is 7 to 1. For every 7 units of silver, whatever unit you want, a kilo, an ounce, a ton, whatever you want to judge it, no matter, units. For every 7 units of silver that comes out of the ground, 1 unit of gold pops up. It doesn't pop up, but I'm saying that's how it's mined. When you look at the total numbers, 7 to 1. Okay? The price.
Google says silver is the same way. Rare heavy metals like silver and gold, however, need the most extreme stellar environments to form, found only during the explosions of massive stars or supernovas.
Right now, it's $100. You got gold 3,400 and silver 34. Why would it ever be that? That makes no sense at all. 0 cents. At the very least, it should be 7 to 1. At the very least, it should be 7 to 1 because that's how it's mined. No, in my office. Why are we in the basement? Because it's dark. I don't like that sense.
Because it sounds like shit.
So it should be 7 to 1. So if you put gold where it is right now, silver should be somewhere around $7 to $500 roughly. 500 times 7 would be 3,500. That's about where gold is. So silver should be about $500 per ounce right now, and it's not.
It's actually about 1 to 10. Around 1.7 million tons of silver and 0.17 million tons of gold have been mined worldwide. 10 to 1.
Now, when you look at other factors, such as how much silver and gold are both available worldwide right now, well, they're lying about that. They're saying there's a lot more silver than what there really is.
Okay.
So there is less silver available than what the liars, than what the Kabbalah said. And what that does is it pushes the value of silver down. When the truth comes out about how much silver really exists in the world, and then you relate that to how much gold there is, there's going to be a big discrepancy, huge discrepancy, okay? And the reason why there's not as much silver is because it's destroyed when it's used. All these electric cars, every single one of those electric car batteries are silver-based. It needs silver because of the reflective properties and because of the conductive properties that only silver has. You cannot replace silver with any other metal. They try it for you. Computers, cell phones, cameras, solar equipment, satellites. And yes, there are satellites. They're not space because there is no space, but they're high. They're up there in the sky. So all of this stuff.
How do you figure it's destroyed? I guess would be my question. And if silver is destroyed when using it, wouldn't gold be destroyed when using it as well? It's not, right? They recoup, they recycle, they upcycle. They can put it in a precipitate and have it in liquid form and then draw it all back out. Like, it's insane the way they're able to recover precious metals anymore. There's a channel I watch all the time where he'll go from like this brown liquid to all of a sudden he'll put chemicals in it and electric plates and shit, and then all of a sudden the shit just falls out of the like little droplets of gold just fall out of the liquid. It's insane.
Uses silver, and when it's used, you can't reuse it, can't recycle it. It's used for its purpose, and then that's it. Gold is not the same. You do not use gold for a cell phone. Use gold for jewelry.
Silver's recycled all the time when it's used.
That's about it, really.
There are people that do this for a living, like harvest silver and gold and shit from electronics.
And for coins, but regardless of that 7-to-1 ratio, based just on those, and there's another 10 factors I can talk about. So just those two factors, the fact that gold is destroyed after it's used, silver is destroyed after it's used, and the fact that they're lying about the supply. That 7-to-1, it's kind of getting 1-to-1. So if someone's saying that gold is going to go to $55,000 an ounce, to me, that also means that silver should be $55,000 an ounce. And that's just looking at two factors.
Only two factors.
Any other factors to consider, which would drive silver probably about twice the amount of what gold would be. I'm not going to get into every single one of those factors, but I have in the past show, and I put a link to the past show somewhere. And in that past show, which was about 2-3 years ago now that I did, I was the one to tell you that I believe silver will go to $100,000. And ironically now, in May of 2025.
$100,000 an ounce now. $100,000 an ounce.
3 years after I said that, someone is saying, an industry expert, not just some guy on the internet, an industry expert is predicting gold to go to $55,000 an ounce. Well, that puts silver right in line where I said it was going to be, doesn't it? Maybe I knew what I was talking about this whole time. I never considered that. Maybe like philsilver.com and goldquiz.com were not just companies that came into your purview to make Phil money. Maybe they were designed to make you money. By the way, speaking of goldquiz.com, we had a record month last month. You guys must have heeded my advice because there were more signups than we could do in the 30-day period of April. So
he's said that all the time.
Thank you for that. You guys are
always
rolling over that cabal-backed stock market retirement funds. I think you.
So listen how scammy this silver or this gold-backed IRA, precious metal IRA, company he works with is. So you take your IRA out and you roll it into a 401k and you roll it into a gold-backed, precious metal-backed IRA. Now, IRAs cannot be collectibles. Like you can't roll an IRA into baseball cards or video games or tennis shoes. Legally, it cannot. The government will not let you do it into collectibles. So instead, they call the precious metals you invest in collector grade. Not collectibles, collector grade. And it's way above spot price. It wouldn't be bad if you're rolling into a spot price, right? Because gold and silver are usually pretty stable. Even when the market's pretty tumultuous, they stay pretty stable at spot price. But they have this collector grade. Now, when shit hits the fan, the first thing that you lose on something is collector premium, right? When people have a lot of money to spend on shit, baseball cards and Pokemon cards and video games and tennis shoes, all that stuff is like crazy expensive for the people who want to buy. But when we're in the middle of like a housing market or stock market collapse or some shit, that stuff, the collector premium is gone. So these people roll over their 401k. Let's say they have $100,000 to roll over. They are getting reports, their very first report from this gold-backed IRA, that say they only have $60,000 now. A 40% loss just from rolling over within 1 month. When they are challenging that, they get a statement that says you rolled over 100K, you're worth 60K. When they freak out and challenge that and post on these like groups that they're in, they are told this statement, and they've been told this by the company. We can't send the actual value of your investments in your statements. You have to call us to get the real value. They are limited by laws in place about lying about the collectible value on your statement. But when you call them, they'll say, oh, no, really, when we looked at this collector grades precious metals you have, you're really sitting at like 120. You've made 20,000. But your statement you get from them, which should be the only thing you trust. Would you trust a bank that you put $5,000 in and they send you a statement and say, we got your $1,000? And you're like, I put $5,000 in. And they're like, oh, no, call us. And you call them and you're like, well, really, you got 6. But on your statement, on your physical statement we send you every fucking month, we have to just say that you lost $4,000 legally. Wink, wink. That's the biggest fucking scam I've ever heard of. If it were true, then they would be able to show you on your statement that you're ahead and tell you on a phone call that you're ahead. Those numbers should match. Not, oh, well, legally we have to send you this statement. But that's not your real value. You don't believe that, do you? Call us. We'll tell you the real value. Fuck that.
You've seen turmoil in the stock market recently, especially with all the tariff talk and now the Fed's talking about rates and all this kind of stuff. And it's just only going to get worse.
The tariff talk? Who brought in the tariff talk?
Before it gets better. Just a reminder, your 401k or your IRA is invested in the stock market. There's a 98% chance that most, if not all, of your money that is in your retirement account is invested in the stock market, whether you like it or not. You don't have a choice.
He told all his followers that, and a lot of his followers are old and retired and shit. He told his followers that their stock market portfolio, their 401k, their retirement would go to zero if they didn't hurry up and transfer it to his company. It would go to zero. You would lose everything.
That's what they do with it. Your company, Northwestern Mutual, whoever, it could be any company, they're going to invest a large portion, if not all of your money in the stock market. And as the stock market goes up and down, so does your investment. So what I would do in that situation is get the heck out of there. And we've created a very simple way for you to do that. Answer 5 questions, takes 37 seconds on goldquiz.com. It'll point you to the right company that you should go to based on what your answers were. And it'll be done in as quick as a couple days. You are running out of time. Soon, you will not be able to afford to do it. So I know you all have financial advisors, anybody that has a retirement account. And if you call them and you tell them what you want to do, they will talk you out of it.
Don't call your bank. Don't call your financial advisor. Don't talk to whoever manages your 401k. They'll talk you out of it. But listen to me. Listen to me. He's been getting pushback on this. Like, hey, I called, the administrator of my 401k and they told me this is a horrible idea. It sounds like a scam. Don't listen to them. They're part of the cabal. Send me your money.
They're wrong. They are not, I believe, that they are looking out for their own best interests and not for yours.
Phil's the only person in the world that look out for your interests instead of his own.
Believe me or not. But don't cry when you didn't take advantage of an opportunity. All right. That was a long answer.
That's a woman's hand. What the fuck is that? Did someone else grab his face? What the fuck just happened?
Don't cry when you didn't take advantage of an opportunity. All right. That was a long answer. Tell us about Diana. Is she still alive?
Okay, I guess it's his hand. What a weird fucking angle to be at there, Phil.
Should be revealed. Tell us about Diana. Is she still alive and will she be revealed? Okay. I've toyed with this long enough. Diana is alive. You don't gotta call her Queen Diana or Princess Diana or Diana of Wales or whatever. You don't gotta do that. She's alive. She faked her own death. There were reasons why she faked her own death, which I'm not gonna get into. Diana is alive. The second part of that question reads, will she be revealed? I don't know. In fact, I think that there's a strong possibility that she will never be revealed. Why? She don't want to. She don't want to be revealed. She likes the life that she's been living.
Well, didn't you just reveal her?
It's what she wanted. It's the whole reason why she faked her death to begin with. And there were many reasons why she did that. But it's really going to be up to her. I can't see, knowing what I know and living the life that I've lived, which a lot of you guys know about, I can't see why she would want to come out. The turmoil, the lifestyles, I can't see it. I don't think she would do it. So if I had to guess, I would say no. But The only person that knows that is her. I just don't see what benefit it would have for her. Would it have benefit for us? Probably. But would it have benefit for her? I don't think so. So, how many land masses are beyond the ice wall, and how big are they?
Oh, he's also a flat earther that believes in the ice wall and thinks that aliens are just people who came from our flat plane beyond the ice wall because there's other fucking countries out there and shit.
I'll show you. Hold on.
Okay, show us. Do you think the victims he scammed will get a class action lawsuit against? I don't know. I'm so goddamn cynical seeing all these fucking pieces of shit becoming multi-millionaires, stealing from people. I don't know. I'm black-pilled on it, so don't ask me. Phil claims that he was taken when he worked for the NSA, when he was training to work for the CIA at summer camp, that he was taken from mainland U.S. into a tunnel and popped out at the ice wall. And they got to see it for a little bit and then turned around and went back in.
Ooh, that's a good one. I don't think I've ever seen this one before. Let me just screen grab this and give me a second. Ooh. I think this is it. Good, there we go. So, how do I move the damn thing? It's weird.
Well, if you did a screen grab on it, you can't move it.
Anyway,
it's a picture, you idiot.
That you see, the white circle that you see around the green and yellow. I wish I could point to it. I don't know why it's not letting me, but regardless, the white circle that you see in a circular format around the green and yellow is our ice wall. And if you look beyond that, you can see other areas, other larger masses outside of that white circle. At the very top of this flat plane, you see a black dot. That is Rufus Negro. That is.
Isn't this still a globe?
Is the point that you can see on the moon map. That's a major point in flat Earth, and we talked about that in many past shows, so I don't want to get too deep into it. But you can see all of our known lands within the green and yellow landmass area. That is where we live. That is Earth. Outside of the white ice wall that you see, and this isn't really drawn to scale very much. I think this is kind of drawn to show you Earth and not so much the land masses beyond Earth. So with that said, let me find an even. I like that one because it's very detailed, but let me find an even better one here. Ah, here we go. Ooh, I like that one. Here we go. Rebel Studio added this new overlay feature. It's kind of cool. Never did this before with an overlay. This is really going to show you something cool. All right, so top left, you have the moon. That is the moon. That is what the moon looks like. If you superimpose green...
We've been over this and over this and over this and over this. This is not true.
Green, which indicates land, and blue, which indicates ice or water, you get the top right photo. So, as you can see, the images, the dark spots on the moon, which are supposed to indicate some sort of crater, if you make those green and make the white part of the moon blue, you have the exact lands that are on Earth. And they fit perfectly. Now, quickly go to the bottom right photo. That is Earth in the blue. Everything outside of that blue circle within the circle, that is outside of the ice wall. So you can see that the land masses on Earth match exactly the craters on the moon.
Not true at all.
And if you zoom in a little bit further on that blue section that's on the white, on the bottom right photo.
Not even close, honestly.
If you zoom in on it, that's
like they're missing so much shit all around here. This portion is not there. This is missing. Somehow they got this in there, but not that in there. Like, no, none of that's true.
what the bottom left photo would be. And you can see there's Asia, there's Europe, there's the United States, North America, South America. You see Australia on there, New Zealand. The only one thing that is on that map that does not belong is a large continent called Lemuria.
Lemuria
is what we refer to as Atlantis, the sunken continent of Atlantis. It actually exists on the moon map. Indicates that the moon map of the lands that are on Earth is not a current depiction of Earth. It was a frozen moment in time, however many years ago, we don't know. We also don't know how that depiction got there.
That makes sense.
Why it was superimposed on the moon, our lands on Earth is superimposed on the moon, but I am still waiting for a very intelligent individual to tell me how it's at all possible for the exact locations of land on Earth.
It's not. It's not even close to the same.
To be in the exact locations, and I'm talking to the mile. If you measure out the distance between Australia and the northernmost
Even the miles are right. Right? The scale
point of the United States, whatever that calculation comes out to, however many miles that is, you could then take that calculation and also go to the moon and measure it. Same. Every distance is the same. How? So those are random asteroids slammed into the moon, right? That's how those craters were formed. Let's put that back up again. That's how those dark blotches in the top left.
This isn't true.
That's how that was formed. Asteroids hitting the moon, making these massive craters, right? So you're telling me that the asteroids were smart? They knew they were going to collide with the moon, and before they collided, they took a look over at Earth and like, oh, look, there's Earth. Why don't we make the same pattern? No. This is Earth. And as you can see, the images that are green, or the area of the image that is green and yellow, that's our land. Now, what the heck is outside?
So the other flat earthers say the exact same thing. When people take a picture of the moon, rotate it, superimpose the Earth above it, and like lower the opacity to where you can see through it, they're like, oh, once you show them that it's not true, then they're like, oh, well, you're assuming that the actual globe image is accurate.
Top left of the image, you have a very large area of land. Very top of the image, you have Rupus nigra. And again, if you look at this again, you can see how we've all been deceived. And you know what bothers me the most? We wake up every day. We go to bed every night. And we look outside up in the sky, and there it is. There's a moon. Right up in front of us. Right in our face. All the maps that we've ever been shown were nothing but lies. And how would we know? We've had a map the entire time. It's in our sky. We've had proof that there's more lands outside of our ice wall. We've had it the entire time. It's right up in the sky. Go outside. You see it today. As long as clouds are in the way. What is the moon? I have no idea. Plasma? Could very well be plasma. Kind of looks like an X-ray. Was the images of the land masses that are on Earth projected onto the moon with some sort of radiation or energy that came from Earth itself? How and why was it projected onto the moon? Was it God? Was it somebody messing with...
Wait a second, Phil. Why didn't you show the bottom of that photo? Why didn't you show the bottom of that photo? Is this so they laid it out on a flat, so they took the moon, made it land, did this thing, whatever. They laid it out on a flat projection map, as the map you would see like in school or something. Is that what the land bodies on Earth look like? Why did you stop right? I know there was another arrow in your picture that showed a photo below it. You only showed these top four. Why didn't you show this bottom one? Because everybody knows that's what the land of the United States or of the world looks like, right? This looks just like us. Why didn't you show that? That's even more evidence. Look at this. There's where I live, right? And then kind of Florida. For some reason, Texas is no longer hooked to Mexico. Got it. You guys really got fucked over here in Africa. That is a skinny Africa. Why didn't you show this bottom photo, Phil? It's weird. One for one image, guys. Everything on the moon is exactly what a world map looks like. One for one, idiots.
Technology on Earth? Is this what caused Atlantis to sink to the bottom of the sea? It's no longer on our realm, as it's depicted in the moon map? I don't know. I don't know. I want to know. I want to know more than anything that I've ever wanted to know. Sometimes I drive around in my car. Sometimes I'm on a plane, and I look out the window and I look down at our Earth and I look, you know, everything's always flat. I've never seen a curve anywhere, no matter what height I go to, no matter what area of the world I go to. There's never any curve anywhere. I've never seen it. The only people that have seen the curve are the people that look at NASA photos. No one else has ever seen the curve. But anyway, sometimes I just, you know, I'm just in nature. Could be on the ocean, you know, on a boat, could be in the sky, on a plane. Could just be driving through the country and just, you know, how you get those feelings sometimes where you appreciate nature and you appreciate life, that you're alive and you thank God for being alive. When I get to those moments, man, I always talk to God at that time and I said, I just wish you could show me. I wish you could show me what we don't know. Because we got pretty efficient.
Just go hang out with God. All it took was one meeting with J.D. Vance and the Pope was like, I'm telling, he went to see God. Just go hang out with him.
Putting together the truth.
By the way, when Phil is a religious grifter as well. When he first started doing these shows, he was talking about DNA and how the DNA evolved from the fucking rhesus monkeys or some shit. And then people are like, that's not what the Bible said. And he's like, yeah, the Bible's not true, idiots. You guys are so dumb, running around believing the Bible. And now he's like, oh, praise God. When in the small hours of the night, when I'm alone with God.
With the age of the internet now and live streaming and YouTube and Rumble and all these other, you know, ways to put information out there, we have things now that we've never had before. This is why the world is starting to wake up. But there's so many questions that remain. Why did they keep all this information from us about Earth, about the moon? What is the moon? God calls it a secondary light source.
Cheese.
It's an illuminary. That's what God calls it in the Bible. Created the sun and the moon. The sun for daylight and the moon so that we could see at night. We didn't have light back in the biblical days, the beginning, you know, years of Earth. We didn't have that. We had the moonlight at night. That's how people saw things. That's all in the Bible. God mentions the firmament 208 times. The firmament is the dome that covers. So the firmament, let's talk about the firmament for a minute. If you look at this photo again, look at the bottom right photo.
See his arrow? Look, see this arrow? There's an arrow right there because there's another photo. He cut it off. He's not showing the bottom of it.
Lands, which is in blue, is superimposed over the white circle. The firmament covers the entire circle. It doesn't only cover the blue area where our ice wall is. So our ice wall does not have a firmament around it.
The word firmament is mentioned in the Bible 17 times, by the way. 17, not 268.
Except in one spot, which is right down by Australia. You can see where the blue area is touching the outer rim of the overall white circle. That is where the firmament meets our known lands. And it is the only spot that the firmament meets our known lands. Because if you look around, if you traverse the outer edges of that blue circle, you'll see that no other area comes in contact with the area, with the white area, the white edges. So the firmament covers the entire circle, not just the inner circle of what we know as Earth. And that's why those areas are the areas that you could actually go over the ice wall, heavily, heavily guarded. You'll never get there. You try to get there by plane, you'll be shot down. Try to get there by boat, you'll be sunk. To keep it hidden.
A bunch of flat earthers and globe earthers, I guess, just went there and did a live stream in Antarctica. And a pastor is the one who paid for it. They live streamed every bit of it. You could go online and track their phones to see where they're at, where they're flying from, how they went there, how long they stayed, when they came back. They did a 24-hour live cast the entire time, that 24 hours a day for all 3 days that they were there. Like, come on.
Now, what's beyond the ice wall? The question originally asked, what are the masses outside? And you could clearly see from this photo again that there is an enormous amount of land.
Again, there's another arrow here. He's intentionally not showing the last photo of this because it shows how fucked up the map would look if this were true.
Enormous. In fact, twice as.
In fact, the guy who posted this is a Reddit thread. He posted in a flat earth community, and they're like, ban him. He's a troll. He's a troll. He's trying to get us to engage this photo. He doesn't even believe in flat earth. The guy who posted this image.
Much by the look of it. What is that land? Is it cold? Is there a second sun? There's many things on the internet about a second sun. Sometimes you see what appears to be a second sun on the horizon. Is it just a reflection off the firmament, or is there actually another sun over there? Are there people over there that also have an ice wall? Do they think that they live on a planet, a round spherical planet in outer space? Maybe. Are those our aliens?
Why doesn't Starlink connect to them?
Are those attempts that we see of another civilization on another part of our greater realm of Earth that are trying to make contact with us? I don't know. I want to know. I talk to God about knowing the truth about our planet. I want to know. I want to know more than anything. I'd give up anything to know the truth. It is.
I used to cover this guy pretty often. I just got tired of it, man. Same lies. His fans believe him no matter what. Send him tons of money. He also he's not even like grateful for it. Like he flaunts his wealth, driving around in supercars, making videos. Just bought a Rolls Royce a few weeks back, just so he could make a video, sitting in it, driving it around, telling them that, oh, it's about to happen any day now.
A constant aggravation for me.
I'm fucking struggling to pay bills. This motherfucker's driving around in a Rolls Royce making fucking videos for his chat that he lies to every day, that he's robbed blind. Like, get the fuck out of here. I'm tired of it.
And I hope someday soon we will know. You can see how passionate I am about this. It's probably one of my favorite things in life is to know that we've been lied to on such a grand scale. And I know why. I mean, it relates to money laundering. It relates to covering up God's existence. Because if you think if there's no outer space and there's no planet that we live on, there's no other planets, and we live on a flat, dome-covered plane, then you start asking questions about the creator. Well, how? If there's no space, then evolution isn't real, and there's no billions and billions of years of... Suddenly, there are a lot more questions. Then you start wondering about who created this flat plane and who put the dome over us? What's on the other side of the dome? Can we get through it? There's so many questions, and they don't want to ask those questions. So, all right, anyway. I got a flat earth for 4 hours on the show. Even somebody wants to know. Crazy. Okay. What's that one? I'm going to do a few more of these, so don't be doing any more Rumble rants other than the ones that I see there. I'm going to waste some money on a question I'm not going to read. Speaker Dr. David Martin did a live on, quote, is the Pentagon planning another crisis on July 4th? What do you know about this? No. That is something I think I would know about because I would have been instructed in some way, shape, or form to do certain things. And no, there's nothing going on like that at all. I don't know. Who did you say said that? Dr. David Martin? I don't know who that is, but there's absolutely nothing in my pipeline whatsoever in regards to intel that relates to a crisis on July 4th. Will we be able to go to those lands beyond ever in our lifetime? Well, this kind of relates, I'm glad I asked that question because I wasn't going to go there, and I said I was earlier in the show. Remember I said earlier in the show, Elon's talking about going to Mars and Trump's talking about the sun exploding? When Elon says he wants to go to Mars, what do you think he's talking about? Because he's not stupid, right? He's into like rockets and like launching these things. And
He's talking about going to the flat Earth planets.
Trump obviously knows the truth about our planet, so why would they be talking like this? I believe when he says he wants to go to Mars, he's not referring to the planet, the red planet, the round thing way up there in outer space, so far away, we can never get to it. He's talking about going to the lands beyond. So Elon was brought in as a go-around to NASA. NASA obviously is one big lie and has been one big giant money laundering operation for...
Dr. David Martin says, a July 4th bioterrorism attack scenario looming. You may want to find out what Senator Joe Lieberman at Tom Ridge News and the Biodefense Com have mapped out for what we apparently didn't get with COVID-19. Will 240,000 people die? Which bioweapon from which DARPA lab? Tularemia? Anthrax? Modifications? So he's saying July 4th there's going to be a bioterrorism attack, is what the guy that they asked the question about is saying.
Decades. It's like $50 trillion. They've siphoned off the American public since 1958, something like that. The money is extraordinary. It's just crazy. But all on a lie. They never went to space. They never built the space shuttle. It's just all Photoshop and acting. I think Elon was brought in and SpaceX was brought in to actually go to the lands beyond. So do I think we'll ever get there? An educated guess, knowing what I know and what I tried to teach you guys about the lands beyond and about flat Earth, I do think that we will get there. And I think SpaceX is close to getting there already. The question I have in mind is, how habitable is it? Is there a second sun? Is that the one that's going to explode? God never talked about another sun in the Bible, but do we have the whole Bible? Why would the second sun explode? Can you explode the sun? It's not a star. It's under the firmament. So you could go to it. You burn up, but has the cabal tried to destroy our sun so that Satan can take over the earth? I don't know. But I do think we're going to get there. I would love for it to be in our lifetime. I have no idea. Was Melania a surrogate for Trump and Diana's son, Barron, and why? I'm not going to comment on that at all.
So Barron's the son of Princess Diana and Trump. Melania was a surrogate.
I'm just going to completely avoid the question. I'm sorry. I'm not going to go there. Were you pointing us to Doge and their work and Luke, who won the Vesuvius Challenge when you visited Pompeii, Italy last year? Well, I was visiting Italy anyway. It's not like I specifically went there to do a comm, but while I was there, it made sense to recognize Vesuvius and Doge. So yes, I knew Doge was coming. I knew Elon. I knew the whole thing. I knew Ramswamy or whatever his name is was going to be involved. I knew Elon was going to be involved. I knew what they were going to be looking for. I knew they were going to find it. So it was kind of one of those I like to call them proof columns, where I throw something out there that seems out of place, but it's really for a future event to show you that I know what I'm doing and like it's not all a game. That's one of them. I never really bring them up though unless you guys bring them up. So I kind of like doing that. I don't know why. Maybe that's the land of Nod, where God sent Cain after he killed Abel. That's an excellent point. And I think you're probably right. Lines up in the Bible perfectly, in fact. What's over there? Is the Nephilim over there? Did God banish the Nephilim to the lands beyond?
Ooh.
Say that in the Bible, but
Giants.
is it in another book that we don't have access to because the Vatican has it? Hey Phil, you put out, quote, I Sniper. Was one of the meetings the sniper machine used for counting currency? Was this an RV com? Josh Linder, no. It was certainly com, it was obviously com. But where you went with that was not correct. It had nothing to do with currency, nothing to do with RV. But it had something to do with something. All right, I think we're gonna cut it off here tonight because I'm tired and my voice is starting to hurt, which I anticipated, but
I don't know why he picks his own skin. Like, it's hard to see because my beard, but basically the whole time he's talking, he pinches his neck and pulls the skin away and lets it like snap back into place. That, I don't know what the fuck that is. That's weird.
I'm glad you got. All right, I think we're gonna cut it off here tonight because I'm tired and my voice is starting to hurt, which
He pulls his beard hair,
a lot of people are asking over here.
pinches his skin. How
many viewers did we have tonight? Let me double check that for you right here, right now. Oh, it looks like we had every single person on Earth watching tonight. Isn't that amazing? Oh, there's another thing here that says, wow, look at that. Even some people on the lands beyond actually tuned in. It's amazing. The numbers are incalculable because they would exceed any numbers that we have.
Incalculatable, he says. So the reason he's making this like smart ass response is because you can see how many views something has, right? But Phil would have like respectable numbers, like 100,000 people watching him. And he'd be like, we're at 2.3 million, guys. 2.3 million. He just lies about it like crazy.
We actually know of human life. So I'm super honored and proud to be in front of all humanity tonight. Yeah, it's awesome. I feel like I'm the center of the universe, literally, because my numbers say that everyone's watching in the whole world. Now, I don't have my counter on this. I don't have my what do you call it? API index on this computer in Havasu, so I don't know. Judging by the public numbers that we have, I'm going to say probably around 20 million, roughly. Numbers going to be low.
20 million. 20 million watching him. Just 20 million, casually, if you had to guess. He claims that the numbers that we see are lies, and they're only people that have accounts that are logged in. But he can see the numbers of people without accounts or that are watching incognito, so.
Because I've been live a long time, but I would say plus or minus 20 million. I could be way wrong. But I don't really, I don't do it for that. What you'll see on Rumble is 24,200 people right now, but that's only people that have registered Rumble accounts, like you guys that are commenting.
There you go. That's a lie, right? Obviously, Rumble knows how many people are watching, whether you have an account or not.
We're here in chat.
I've actually spoke to Rumble about this, and they confirmed, no, that's the number of viewers that you have. Whether they have accounts or not, doesn't matter. Whether they're incognito or not, doesn't matter. Whether they're on their phone or computer or tablet, doesn't matter.
It counts you because you have an account, you're logged into the account. Other people, much, much higher, 10, 20, 100 times that amount, actually watch from accounts that they're not logged into. You can watch any show on Rumble without an account, but Rumble won't count you as a viewer. You don't have to be logged in to watch, is what I'm saying. And then also, Q streaming. I don't know how many people are on there because I don't have the API right now. But I would say just based on what I see here, it's probably in the 20 million range. Most likely. I'm tired. Go live for a while and suddenly just, All right. I don't know when the next live's going to be. I'll try my best to fit one in this weekend, but I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be possible. So just keep an eye on Telegram. We'll see what my schedule's like, how I feel tomorrow. I know I won't be able to do it Saturday or Sunday. Sunday, Mother's Day, we got some stuff planned with Carrie and the girl.
How refreshing.
And tomorrow, I don't know if I'm going to be there. We'll see how my voice feels. So thank you guys for tuning in. I think it was a nice little reintroduction for me in front of the camera and you sitting there watching me. And I hope my explanation as to why I've been down, and not doing as many lives makes sense for you. I just want to give you this one little piece of advice.
20 million viewers.
You will regret not rolling over your 401k right away.
Oh, there we go. Another call to action. Had to slip that one in.
That is going to be something that you regret for the rest of your lifetime and for the lifetimes of your offspring. Get to goldquiz.com. It is going to be one of those things where, for the lineage of your entire family, you could change the course of their financial freedom. Get there. Don't wait any longer. Goldquiz.com. All right, guys. Love you guys. Check out Telegram for the next announcement for my next show. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you soon.
He even picks at his tattoo over here on his arm. It's so weird the shit he picks at the whole show. Pinching and picking and pulling, and that's Phil Godlewski, everybody. He's kind of a predator. Usually. You want to hear a terrifying tweet I just read while he was rambling on? Matt Van Swol, who claims he was used to be he's a coder who lives in Asheville and claims he used to be this super Democrat, and then now he's suddenly a Trump supporter and blew up his Twitter account or whatever. He says, so let me get this straight. Doge spent every single fucking day since January 20th working 20 hours a day, sleeping on the floor to find waste and fraud in the government. And the Republicans, the GOP, is just like, nah, let's vote on it. Let's not vote on it. Can someone explain to me what the fuck is going on? Now that's just Matt Van Swol doing his thing, right? I don't care about him. Listen to this reply that got 148 likes, 4 retweets, has 69 comments underneath it. Listen. It's from Ricardo Disregardo. They say, this is terrifying to read in America, with someone calling himself a fucking patriot. It says, I'll explain it. You were a fool if you ever thought we could vote our way out of this. The situation is the same as it was 15 years ago. We either need one temporary patriotic dictator, or people need to exert their own justice on these officials. If not, nothing will change. So either one, we need a temporary. How often are dictators temporary? How often do they become dictators with all-encompassing power over the country and then they just step down later? Or 2, you need to go out and commit violence against people who don't vote the way that Trump wants them to vote. There's no such thing as a temporary dictator. They last until someone kills them, basically. And either they're the new dictator, or sometimes it's a party of people and they're actually able to break away from a dictatorship. Or you need to go out and commit violence against people who don't vote with Trump. How fucking crazy is that response? Lonnie Bauer says, this is from Phil Godlewski's chat, all will be shocked at the American Pope who is playing him. And who is playing him. We shall witness the rebirth of on earth of Father, Holy Spirit, Son from the bloodline of Yeshua. Get ready for shock and awe days. Hands up, point up, people kissing, party celebration, red balloon, flowers, 100%, boom, 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 boom. Flaming heart. A clue, folks. The man that's playing the Pope. Now, they believe everybody's dead and they've been replaced by actors. So it says the man playing the Pope has played multiple characters in this movie. What an ending this will be. Get ready. American church for a massive change in God's real, raw truth. They think that JFK Jr. is playing the Pope that was just selected. The Q-tards think that JFK Jr. is playing the new Pope. It's 1 a.m., guys. I'm out. Please consider supporting the show. That's how we pay the bills around here. I got to pay the rent today. Yeah, please consider supporting the show if you can. We greatly appreciate it. You can do that at coldbeer.fund. You can use any of the links, including the easiest one down the bottom is just PayPal. We greatly appreciate it if you can help out. If not, please share the show, like the show, send the show to somebody. Thank you for that, and I'll see everybody on the next one. Have a good night. Hope you enjoyed recapping Phil. Hopefully we don't have to do that again for a while, and we'll see you on the next one. Love you. See you. Bye. The red guard. That's exactly what it is.
If this douchebag happens to see this particular show, you don't have.
I need to find a super wealthy, super generous donor that wants to fund the show for a while
Who they are
until I can finish fighting the VA.
Forking balls. You don't have balls.
Have a good night, guys.
Okay, Scott. Here we go. I think I started some shit. Listen off, it's about to get lit.
Need a sugar daddy.
You know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go. I think I started some shit. Listen off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best. You know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. And they say that I'm a lunatic. Well, listen, bitch, I came equipped with a quick wit and a 6th sense for the stupid shit. Where my true believer? Y'all need Jesus. Praise the Lord, head to the extreme. All these false fucking prophets who profit off of gossip. Worshipping drums, cocking, begging for a throat deposit. Swinging fucking meat hammers like four in a thong. He's strapped to the shaft, eating his chest like he's King Kong. Starving for attention, I'ma make your gut burst. I'll be your huckleberry, I can quench that thirst. Baby eating lizard people, alien sex. What's next? Trump in a dress, fucking Flynn on his desk. A retard in a vest, climbing up 5G towers. Cause you told him if he did, he'd get fucking superpowers. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Listen off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss him off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. I used to find clues too when I was high on shrooms. I found myself a tunnel that led to Jason Q's bedroom. Open his closet, I found some of his meat rockets. I strapped them to my shoes and then I flew through the roof. I found myself in orbit strapped to an F-16. High on amphetamine, with Trump in between.
Have a good night, guys. Thanks for sticking it out.
Saluted the troops. He tapped me on the shoulder and said, "This is gonna be it." Whoa, wait. Stop.